Okay, I wanted to get more into Jquery Mobile, so and I apologize. I was trying to get this video done earlier, and it's taken me a little bit longer, but it'll work out, and we'll learn a lot here. This is the Jquery Mobile website, and this changes quite often. And it turns out that I end up having to kind of check it and rewrite it every time I teach the course once a year at the beginning of the year. So I wanted to show you how to get the information here for yourself. The W3 schools tutorials are really good, but I believe that they might show the older version now, which is what I originally learned here. So you can download all the files here. They also have this thing called the theme builder that we'll talk about eventually, theme roller, sorry. And then we have demos and API documentation. And so I assume you can handle the download yourself. We'll go there real quick though. Now that I think about it, there's actually different versions. And in particular, all the JavaScript comes in compressed, which have the word min in the file name, and uncompressed versions. And basically, right now you're not going to do any JavaScript, so normally for production you'd use the min version, the minified. So that's what you're going to want. Now if you look up here, basically you do want to host your own files. It's possible to use these online storages, the CDNs, and just link to the library, but I've had trouble trying to develop locally with that and getting that to work. And the last thing you want is to be dealing with not knowing if the JavaScript layer under the page is working or not. So your code is perfectly good, but it doesn't run. That would suck. So I recommend that you just download the files and run them locally. Now, the documentation also says that sometimes it won't work locally anyway, and I think that might depend on what version of the browser you have. So one of the reasons I want to make the video is I'll show you, and you'll be able to tell instantly if your template works. If it doesn't work locally, try it again on your UC file space drive. Okay? Alright, so this is where we get it, and probably what you want is to just grab the whole thing here, but then read through this and just kind of look at what the other versions are and some of that. Now, you're not going to need to do this just to complete the lab. I've already built a template for you, and we'll kind of get the idea of the syntax by converting our student web page to a Jquery mobile site. So if we go to demos, and this is not what I want, sorry. So you have all these different demos. I haven't looked through those. The documentation is what I meant to look at. And so let's see, where the hell is this? API documentation. I always kind of get lost when I come here, and then I'll sort of stumble on what I want. And that's sort of weird, but somewhere in here they have really good documentation that takes you through how everything works. Oh, introduction to the framework in the demos. That might be it. Let me get my browser window a little smaller here. I'm used to... Oh, there we go. So that's what we want, the demos. Okay, so now, one problem with this is it's really atomic. So you get all this information about these little detailed things. You don't need that right off. That's just going to be confusing. What you're going to want is the page structure, and I'll take you through that here. Here we go. So introduction, pages and dialogue, and then yeah, I'm still not finding what I want. Let's see. By the way, this is written in jQuery Mobile and jQuery UI. So these collapsible things, and these are all things you can use once you learn how to do this. The problem here is that there's way too much detail. We need to get a basic idea. Here we go. Let's look at pages. That's what we want. So if you go to pages, there you go. So the mobile page structure. So here's an example of a default page, and notice the scripts that are involved. Now, these script URLs go to the jQuery site. You're going to change those and make them local. Again, you won't have to do this. I've already done this for you. And I put all the files together. But you do need to be able to read through this stuff and understand. So like our template has the viewport set. And then inside the pages we have a series of these divs with a data role. And the master one is page. Then within page you have the header, the content, and the footer. And notice how role equals main. By the way, seems to be a mistake. It should be data-role equals main. And I fixed that in the template. So each page has the header, main, and footer that we've seen in HTML5. The difference is now each page is just an entire div within a single document. So here's one that has but a single page. And then if we look down here, now we have one with a second and third page. So here we go. And again, all of the first part of the file is the same. So you just repeat this structure here for each page that you're going to have. So if I have a 5-page student website, I'm going to convert it to a single page jQuery mobile site. I'll have 5 of these sections, and if you look at them, the header will mostly be the same in each one except for this title. That's the only thing that'll be different. And it'll have the entire nav bar just like we did. And then here the main, the content from the page will go here in this div called main. And I can give that an ID to use the rules that I wrote on my student page. So it'll work fairly straightforwardly to translate these. Okay? Alright, let's go ahead and use NetBeans, and I'll get you started here on what to do. So I'll do some of this for you. But mainly I want to show you how to use the template. So I'm going to go to Blackboard, and I have to log in with a different window. Hang on just a second. It's kind of touchy because I'm going to open a page in my site that I have open because I'm recording the video into it, and it should be okay because it's just another request to the server, but I always worry about doing stuff like that. Okay, so again, because I was on the auto accent this week, we're doing everything online. And if we go to this directory for this week, this will be up higher. I just got it in, so it's at the very bottom right now. Uh-oh. Well, that ain't good. Because I had uploaded this. Let's see. Huh. Okay, well, guess I'll just go ahead and get it while I'm here. So I'm going to post this right now for you. Sorry about that. Item. And let's see. I must have put this in the wrong class. See, there it is. jQuery templates for student site. Browse my computer. There it is. I usually just do this for everything, so it gives me data about what people use and look at. No problem there. Okay, so by default that'll be at the bottom of the page. Oops. Doesn't want to let me. Here we go. There it is. That's what I want right there. It's a zip file. Okay, so I'm going to save this. Save link as. And I'm just going to build a working directory on my C drive, a temp directory. And so, let's see, new directory. Student JQM. I probably should do this on my Google Drive actually, but we'll see. Okay. Now I'm going to save the zip file there. And then I'm going to go ahead and unzip it. So I changed the mode so you can see a little clearly. Basically what I've done is I've taken this multi-page site student template November 2014 zip file. Not sure why it has that, probably because I downloaded it twice. And I've unzipped it to this folder. And so this folder is what I'm going to import into NetBeans when I create a new project. So I want to keep this here in the zip file as a backup. And then I can change the folder as I go. I'm going to get rid of that. It just bugs me. Okay. So this is what I'm going to open in NetBeans. So I'll go ahead and launch NetBeans. For some reason, this new version that I have, it opens a DOS command window. Makes me suspicious that it's running in 32-bit or something bizarre. I always hate when stuff like that happens. Okay, I've got something open already. I need to close that. And then here we go. So file. I want to create a new project. I want it to be an HTML5 application with existing sources. And then I'm going to go ahead and browse to that directory that I just showed you and make that the root element. Now here's the thing. I probably don't want the name that it has, so what I'm going to do first is I'm going to change the name. Okay, so JQ multi-page site student template, I'm going to just name for my project. Now a real simple thing to do here would be just change this to your name. So Tom's JQM site. Oops. There we go. Okay. Alright, now back into NetBeans. Let's open Tom's site like we just did. So new project. HTML5. By the way, if this doesn't show up, you can go and download it. I think if you have 8 or 8.1 though, it's in there. So application with existing sources. Next. Now we're going to browse to the directory. And this is something I did earlier, so I'm going to pop way up here to my C drive, and then I just created a temporary drive that I'm going to use there. Looks like I misspelled student. There's the folder that I just made. I hit open. Oh, it just took some time. Sorry about that. So see how it picked up my project name? Okay, and then it'll have a new project file there. Okay, so let's go ahead and hit finish. Now let's take a quick look at the files in the site here. Oops, didn't really want to do that. I think Let's go back. Here we go. Yeah, files. So we have a CSS, images, JS, themes folders, and then the NetBeans created the MB project folder. Okay, and if you go into these, this is all the stuff that you need. So they're the jQuery Mobile CSS files. There's our WF main CSS that we'll have to edit to make work with jQuery. And I think all these icons are default too. I didn't put images, that is. I didn't put those in. Originally, I had my images for my web page, and you'll end up putting yours in that folder too. We have 2 JS files. We won't touch those. Again, there's the NetBeans. The theme files came from jQuery 2. I'll talk about those as we go. Okay, index.html is the main file of the page. The main page of the site, and you can see I've already changed my name here. This is just similar to what we did previously, except now instead of using our HTML5 template to create an HTML website, we're using a jQuery mobile technique to create a jQuery mobile site. And the biggest difference is that all the information from each of the pages on the old student site will now be in a single page in the jQuery mobile site. Okay, so if you go through that documentation I showed you on the page structure, that's what we're looking at here. Let me see if I can get this in a nice place for you to be able to see it. And